Let's switch this. There we go. Now I look like a Schreimer. Here's Quacky. Hello. Hello, hello. Might only be talking to myself, but that's okay. If you're watching on Bug, hello, my lovely friends. This is my microphone shadow. Shadow puppets. This is Quacky on my shoulder. I'm wearing a Harry Potter shirt. Not that you can tell, because I'm also wearing a dog. So, it's important. He's sleepy, and, you know, the babies come first. I'm gonna try to keep this so that it's not totally blocking my face, but at the same time, what are you gonna do? Alrighty. Hopefully my music is better. Last time apparently was a little bit loud. I also have to keep this ear open because Duck's upstairs just chilling out watching Encanto all by himself. So you know, as you do. Alright, so last time, where is my, here we are, okay. So, yeah, that actually looks really cool. Okay, so last time, let me do a recap, quick recap. Last time on Harry Potter Storytime, Harry Potter Storytime, Harry Potter Storytime, okay. Alright, last time we read chapters 1 through 4. We found out that Harry is the boy who lived. He's also a wizard. We got to do the infamous, "You're a wizard, Harry," in Hagrid's voice. That was awesome sauce. Very funsies. Good times. So yeah, now I'm just hanging out. Quickly, let me check my camera. Make sure Duck's, you know, not getting into trouble. Should be good. Should be good. I don't see him there, so that's good. Please, my apologies if I have a sniffly nose. I dearly apologize. Oh, that looks good. But you know, it's been very melty, freezy, melty outside. So, what are you gonna do when you're allergic to the outside? Just gotta deal with it. Alrighty, tidy. Alright, so let's turn on some a little bit less epic. As great as this music is, we're turn on just a little bit less epic music. Let's go here. Just a little bit more chill background music. Hopefully everyone can still hear it. Oh yes, there you are. Okay, so hopefully you can hear it. Got our bubbles going in the background. We got this crazy light doodly, wiggly wibbly. It's very Gryffindor, Slytherin vibes at the moment, which works for this next couple of chapters. Alright, cool. So let's get started, shall we? Reorganize. So I don't knock over my water. That's my spare water. Alright, let's go. Harry woke early the next morning. Although he could tell it was daylight, he kept his eyes shut tight. It was a dream, he told himself firmly. I dreamed a giant called Hagrid came to tell me I was going to a school for wizards. When I open my eyes, I'll be at home in my cupboard. There was suddenly a loud tapping noise. And there's Aunt Petunia knocking on the door, Harry thought, his heart sinking. Alright, just kidding. Duck's down here now. You're fine. Go lay down in bed. You want to come sit with me? Nobody's here. Please hold. No more barking, okay? You know, it's very exciting that Hagrid came to see Harry, but can't be barking. Can't be messing with people's earbuds. They're very important, okay? Okay. Let me make this a big. There we go. Now we can see. There was suddenly a loud tapping noise. There's Aunt Petunia knocking on the door. Harry thought, his heart sinking, but he still didn't open his eyes. It had been such a good dream. Tap, tap, tap. All right, Harry mumbled, getting up. He sat up, and Hagrid's heavy coat fell off of him. The hut was full of sunlight. The storm was over. Yeah, the storm was over. Hagrid himself was asleep on the collapsed sofa, and there was an owl rapping its claw on the window. A newspaper held at its beak. Harry scrambled to his feet. So happy he felt. So happy. He felt as though a large balloon was swelling inside him. He went straight to the window and jerked it open. The owl swooped in and dropped the newspaper right on top of Hagrid, who didn't wake up. The owl then fluttered onto the floor and began to attack Hagrid's coat. Don't do that. Harry tried to wave the owl out of the way, but it snapped its beak fiercely at him and carried on scavenging the coat. Hagrid, said Harry loudly, there's an owl. Pay him. Hagrid grunted into the sofa. What? He wants paying for delivery of the paper? That was a weird, I don't know what that was. Sorry for that accent. Look in the pockets. Hagrid's coat seemed to be made of nothing but pockets. Bunches of keys, slug pellets, balls of string, peppermint humbugs, tea bags. Finally, Harry pulled out a handful of strange-looking coins. Give him 5 knuts, Hagrid said sleepily. Knuts? The little bronze ones. Harry counted out 5 little bronze coins, and they all held out its leg, so Harry could put the money into the small leather pouch tied to it. Then he flew off through the open window. Hagrid yawned loudly, sat up, and stretched. Best be off, Harry. Lots to do today. Gotta get up to London and buy all your stuff for school. Harry was turning over the wizard coins and looking at them. He had just thought of something that made him feel as though a happy balloon inside him had got a puncture. Hagrid? Said Hagrid, who was pulling on his huge boots. I haven't got any money, and you heard Uncle Vernon last night. He won't pay for me to go and learn magic. Don't you worry about that, said Hagrid, standing up, scratching his head. Do you think your parents didn't leave you anything? But if their house was destroyed, they didn't keep their gold in the house, boy. Nah, first stop for us is Gringotts, Wizard's Bank. Have a sausage. They're not bad cold, and I wouldn't say no to a bit of your birthday cake. Naiva. Wizards have banks? Just the one. Gringotts, run by goblins. Harry dropped a bit of the sausage he was holding. Goblins? Yeah. So you'd be mad to try and rob it? I'll tell you that. Never mess with goblins, Harry. Goblins is the safest place in the world for anything you want to keep safe. Except maybe Hogwarts. As a matter of fact, I got visit Gringotts anyway. For Dumbledore. Hogwarts business. Hagrid drew himself up proudly. He usually gets me to do important stuff for him. Fetching you, getting things from Gringotts. Knows he can trust me. See? Got everything? Come on then. Harry followed Hagrid out onto the rock. The sky was quite clear now, and the sea gleamed in the sunlight. The boat Uncle Vernon had hired was still there, with a lot of water in the bottom after the storm. How did you get here? Harry asked, looking around for another boat. Flew, said Hagrid. Flew? Yeah, but we'll be going back on this. Not supposed to use magic now I've got you. They settled down in the boat. Harry still stared at Hagrid, trying to imagine him flying. Seems a shame to row, though, said Hagrid, giving Harry another sideways look. If I were to speed things up a bit, would you mind not mentioning it at Hogwarts? Of course not, said Harry, eager to see more magic. Hagrid pulled out the pink umbrella again, tapped it twice on the side of the boat, and they sped off towards land. Why would you be mad to try and rob Gringotts? Harry asked. Spells, enchantments, said Hagrid, unfolding his newspaper as he spoke. They say there's a dragon guard in the high security vaults, and then you gotta find your way. Gringotts is hundreds of miles under London, say. Deep under the underground. You'd die of hunger trying to get out, even if you did manage to get your hands on something. And summit. Harry sat and thought about this while Hagrid read his newspaper, The Daily Prophet. Harry had learned from Uncle Vernon that people liked to be left alone while they did this, but it was very difficult. He'd never had so many questions in his entire life. Ministry of Magic messing things up as usual, Hagrid muttered, turning the page. There's a Ministry of Magic? Harry asked before he could stop himself. Of course, said Hagrid. They want Dumbledore for minister, of course. But he'd never leave Hogwarts. So, old Cornelius Fudge got the job. Bungler if there ever was one. So he pelts Dumbledore with fowls every morning, asking for advice. But what does a Ministry of Magic do? Well, their main job is to keep it from the Muggles that there's still witchers and wizards going up and down the country. Why? Why? Blimey, Harry. Everyone would be wanting magic solutions for their problems. Nah, we're best left alone. Yeah, I don't know what that accent is, but it's doing a thing. So, we might change a little bit, but, bear with me. Sorry. Also, yes, now I'm wearing 2 ducks. At this moment, boat bumped gently into the harbor wall. Hagrid folded up his newspaper and they clambered up the stone steps onto the street. Passersby stared a lot at Hagrid as they walked through. Passersby. I was like, where'd that S go? Passersby stared a lot at Hagrid as they walked through the little town to the station. Harry couldn't blame them. Not only was Hagrid twice as tall as anyone else, he kept pointing at perfectly ordinary things like parking meters and saying loudly, "See that, Harry? Things these muggles dream up, eh?" Hagrid, said Harry, panting a bit as he ran to keep up. Did you say there are dragons at Gringotts? Well, so they say, said Hagrid. Cranky. I'd like a dragon. You'd like one. Wanted one ever since I was a kid. Here we go. They had reached the station. There was a train to London in 5 minutes' time. Hagrid, who didn't understand Muggle money, as he called it, gave the bills to Harry so he could buy their tickets. People stared more than ever on the train. Hagrid took up 2 seats and sat knitting what looked like a canary yellow circus tent. Still got your letter, Harry? He asked as he counted the stitches. Harry took the parchment envelope out of his pocket. Good, said Hagrid. There's a list there of everything you need. Harry unfolded the second piece of paper he had noticed the night before and read, Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Uniform. First-year students will require 1. 3 sets of plain work robes. Black. 2. 1 plain pointed hat. Black. For day wear. 3. 1 pair of protected gloves, dragon hide or similar. 4. 1 winter cloak, black, silver fastenings. Please note that all pupils' clothes should carry name tags. Course books. All students should have a copy of each of the following. The Standard Book of Spells, Grade 1, by Miranda Goshawk. A History of Magic, by Bathilda Bagshot. Magical Theory, by Adalbert Waffling. A Beginner's Guide to Transfiguration, by Embark Switch. 1000 Magical Herbs and Fungi, by Phillida Spore. Phillida Spore. That's funny. Magical Draughts and Potions, by Ursinius Jigger. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, by Newt Scamander. The Dark Forces, A Guide to Self-Protection, by Quentin Tribble. Other equipment. 1 wand. 1 cauldron. Pewter, standard size 2. 1 set glass or crystal phials. 1 telescope. 1 set brass scales. Students may also bring an owl or a cat or a toad. Side note, why can't I bring a dog? I would bring a dog. What do you think, Duck? Would you come with me to Hogwarts? Duck says, whatever you say, Mommy, I love you. Actually, he just blinked. Parents are reminded that first years are not allowed their own broomsticks. Can we buy all this in London? Harry wondered aloud. If you know where to go, said Hagrid. Harry had never been to London before, although Hagrid seemed to know where he was going. He was obviously not used to getting there in the ordinary way. He got stuck in the ticket barrier on the underground and complained loudly that the seats were too small and the trains were too slow. I don't know how the Muggles managed without magic, he said as he climbed a broken down escalator that led to a bustling road lined with shops. Hagrid was so huge that he parted the crowd easily. All Harry had to do was keep close behind him. They passed bookshops and music stores, hamburger restaurants, and cinemas, but nowhere that looked as if it could sell you a magic wand. This was just an ordinary street full of ordinary people. Could there really be piles of wizard gold buried miles beneath them? Were there really shops that sold spellbooks and broomsticks? Might this not be all some huge joke that the Dursleys had cooked up? That's a heck of a joke. If Harry hadn't known that the Dursleys had no sense of humor, he might have thought so. Hey, leave it alone. Yet, somehow, even though everything Hagrid had told him so far was unbelievable, Harry couldn't help trusting him. This is it, said Hagrid, coming to a halt. The Leaky Cauldron. It's a famous place. It was a tiny, grubby-looking pub. If Hagrid hadn't pointed it out, Harry wouldn't have noticed it was there. The people hurrying by didn't glance at it. Their eyes slid from the big bookshop on one side to the record store on the other, as if they couldn't see the Leaky Cauldron at all. In fact, Harry had the most peculiar feeling that only he and Hagrid could see it. Before he could mention this, Hagrid had steered him inside. For a famous place, it was very dark and shabby. A few old women were sitting in a corner, drinking tiny glasses of sherry. Teeny tiny glasses. One of them was smoking from a long pipe. A little man with a top hat was talking to the old bartender, who was quite bald and looked like a toothless walnut. Chat, have you ever seen a walnut with teeth? A toothless walnut. What an interesting descriptor. Do you think so, bud? Duck's like, excuse me, I would like to fall asleep now. The low buzz of chatter stopped when they walked in. Everyone seemed to know Hagrid. They waved and smiled at him, and the bartender reached for a glass, saying, "The usual, Hagrid." "Can't tell? I'm on Hogwarts business," said Hagrid, clapping a great hand on Harry's shoulder and making Harry's knees buckle. "Good Lord," said the bartender, peering at Harry. Is this... Can this be?" The leaky cauldron had suddenly gone completely still and silent. "Bless my soul," whispered the old bartender. "Harry Potter, what an honor!" He hurried out from behind the bar, rushed toward Harry, and seized his hands, tears in his eyes. "Welcome back, Mr. Potter. Welcome back." Harry didn't know what to say. Everyone was looking at him. The old woman with the pipe was puffing on it without realizing it had gone out. Hagrid was beaming. Then there was a great scraping of chairs, and the next moment, Harry found himself shaking hands with everyone in the leaky cauldron. "Doris Crockford, Mr. Potter, can't believe I'm meeting you at last. So proud, Mr. Potter, so proud. Always wanted to shake your hand. I'm all of a flutter. Delighted, Mr. Potter. I just can't tell you. Diggle's the name. Daedalus Diggle." "I've seen you before," said Harry, as Daedalus' top hat fell off in excitement. "You begged me once in a shop." "He remembers!" cried Daedalus Diggle, looking around at everyone. "Did you hear that? He remembers me!" Harry shook hands again and again. Doris Crockford kept coming back for more. A pale young man made his way forward, very nervously. One of his eyes was twitching. "Professor Quirrell," said Hagrid. "Harry, Professor Quirrell will be one of your teachers at Hogwarts." "Potter," stammered Professor Quirrell, grasping Harry's hand. Can't tell you how pleased I am to meet you." "What sort of magic do you teach, Professor Quirrell?" Defense against the dark arts," muttered Professor Quirrell, as though he'd rather not think about it. "Not that you need it, eh, Potter?" He laughed nervously. "You'll be getting all your equipment, I suppose. I've got to pick up a new book on vampires myself." He looked terrified at the very thought. But the others wouldn't let Professor Quirrell keep Harry to himself. It took almost 10 minutes to get away from all of them. At last, Hagrid managed to make himself heard above the babble. "Must get on. Lots to buy. Come on, Harry." Doris Crockford shook Harry's hand one last time, and Hagrid led them out through the bar and out into a small walled courtyard, where there was nothing but a trash can and a few weeds. Hagrid grinned at Harry. "Told you, didn't I? Told you was famous." "Even Professor Quirrell's trembling to meet you." "Mind you, he's usually trembling. Is he always that nervous?" "Oh yeah, poor bloke. Brilliant mind. He was fine when he was studying out in the books, but then he took a year off to get some first-hand experience. The same vampires in the Black Forest. There was a nasty bit of trouble with the hag. Never been the same since. Scared of the students, scared of his own subject. Now, where's my umbrella?" Vampires? Hags? Harry's head was swimming. Hagrid, meanwhile, was counting the bricks in the wall above the trash can. 3 up, 2 across, he muttered. Right. Stand back, Harry." He tapped the wall 3 times with the point of his umbrella. The brick he had touched quivered. It wriggled. In the middle, a small hole appeared. It grew wider and wider. A second later, they were facing an archway large enough for even Hagrid. An archway onto a cobbled street that twisted and turned out of sight. "Welcome," said Hagrid, "to Diagon Alley." Grinned at Harry's amazement. They stepped through the archway. Harry looked quickly over his shoulder and saw the archway shrink instantly back into a solid wall. Sorry about that. The sun shone brightly on a stack of cauldrons outside the nearest shop. Cauldrons, all sizes. Copper, brass, pewter, silver, self-storing, collapsible. said a sign hanging over them. It's a lot of words on a sign. Yeah, we need one of them, said Hagrid. But we gotta get your money first. Harry wished he had about 8 more eyes. He turned his head in every direction as they walked up the street, trying to look at everything at once. The shops, the things outside them, the people doing their shopping. A plump woman outside an apothecary was shaking her head as they passed, saying, "Dragon liver, 16 sickles an ounce. They're mad." A low, soft hooting came from the dark shop with a sign saying, "Ellipse Owl Emporium. Tawny, Screech, Barn, Brown, and Snowy." Several boys about Harry's age had their noses pressed up against a window with broomsticks in it. "Look," Harry heard one of them saying, "the new Nimbus 2000, fastest ever." There were shops selling robes, shops selling telescopes, and also strange instruments Harry had never seen before. Windows stacked with barrels of bat spleens and eel's eyes. Tottering piles of spellbooks, quills, and rolls of parchment. Potion bottles, globes of the moon. "Gringotts," said Hagrid. They had reached a snowy white building that towered over the other little shops. Standing beside its burnished bronze doors, wearing a uniform of scarlet and gold, was... "Yeah, that's a goblin," said Hagrid quietly as they walked up the white stone steps toward him. The goblin was about a head shorter than Harry. He had a swarthy, clever face, pointed beard, and, Harry noticed, very long fingers and feet. He bowed as they walked inside. Now they were facing a second pair of doors, silver this time, with words engraved upon them. "Enter, stranger, but take heed of what awaits the sin of greed. For those who take but do not earn must pay most dearly in their turn. So, if you seek beneath our floors a treasure that was never yours, thief, you have been warned. Beware of finding more than treasure here." Sorry, finding more than treasure there. That works better. "Like I said, you'd be mad to try and rob it," said Hagrid. A pair of goblins bowed them through the silver doors, and they were in a vast marble hall. Above, were sitting on high stools behind a long counter, scribbling in large ledgers, weighing coins on brass scales, examining precious stones through eyeglasses. There were too many doors to count leading off the hall, and yet more goblins for showing people in and out of these. Hagrid and Harry made for the counter. "Mornin'," said Hagrid to a free goblin. "We've come to take some money out of Mr. Harry Potter's safe. You have his key, sir?" "Got it here somewhere," said Hagrid, and he started emptying his pockets onto the counter, scattering a handful of moldy dog biscuits over the goblin's book of numbers. That's a sin. Can't be putting moldy dog biscuits on people's books of numbers. That's just rude. The goblin wrinkled his nose. I don't blame him. Harry watched the goblin on their right, weighing a pile of rubies, as big as glowing coals. "Got it," said Hagrid at last, holding up a tiny golden key. The goblin looked at it closely. "That seems to be in order. And I've also got a letter here from Professor Dumbledore," said Hagrid importantly, throwing out his chest. "It's about the you-know-what in Vault 713. The goblin read the letter carefully. "Very well," he said, handing it back to Hagrid. "I will have someone take you down to both vaults. Griphook?" Griphook was yet another goblin. Once Hagrid had crammed all the dog biscuits back inside his pockets, he and Harry followed Griphook toward toward one of the doors leading off the hall. What's the you-know-what in Vault 713? Just gonna side note. Chat, it should be 713, because you don't actually say and unless there's a comma or a period. Usually if there's like the end, so it would be like if it was like $7 and 13 cents. So this should be just Vault 713. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about how to pronounce numbers correctly. And we'll continue. Can't tell you that, said Hagrid mysteriously. Very secret Hogwarts business. Dumbledore's trusting me. More than my job's worth to tell you that. Griphook held the door open for them. Harry, who had expected more marble, was surprised. They were in a narrow stone passageway, lit with flaming torches. It sloped steeply downward, and there was little railway tracks on the floor. Griphook whistled, and a small cart came hurtling up the tracks toward them. Hello. They climbed in, Hagrid with some difficulty, and were off. At first, they just hurtled through a maze of twisting passages. Hagrid tried to remember left, right, left, middle fork, right, left, but it was impossible. The rattling cart seemed to know its own way, because Griphook wasn't steering. Hagrid. It's in, isn't it? Are you sure? I thought it was, I'm pretty sure it's in London. Hogwarts is in Scotland. Maybe you just go so far underground that you end up in Scotland. Also, hey Birdie, how's it going? Hope you're doing well tonight. Oh, really? Oh, see, I gotta play Hogwarts Legacy. That's very funny. I gotta play Hogwarts Legacy. As far as I know, it's still full price, so I'm just waiting for it to go on sale. Or come to Game Pass. Then I'll just play that for the rest of my life. That's very funny. Gringotts Repository, which is actually in Scotland. It's in the world between. Where am I? Yeah. Harry's eyes stung as the cold air rushed past them. You're always welcome, Bertie. I always laugh when you tell jokes. But he kept them wide open. Once, he thought he saw a burst of fire at the end of the passage, and twisted around to see if it was a dragon. But too late. They plunged even deeper, passing an underground lake where huge stalactites and stalagmites grew from the ceiling and floor, respectively. I never know, Harry called to Hagrid over the noise of the cart. What's the difference between a stalactite and a stalagmite? Stalagmite's got an M in it, said Hagrid. And don't ask me questions just now. I think I'm gonna be sick. He did look very green. And when the cart stopped at last beside a small door in the passage wall, Hagrid got out and had to lean against the wall to stop his knees from trembling. That would be an incredibly large amount of sick ick. Griphook unlocked the door. A lot of green smoke came billowing out, and as it cleared, Harry gasped. There were mounds of gold coins, columns of silver, heaps of little brown knuts. All yours, smiled Hagrid. All Harry's. It was incredible. The Dursleys couldn't have known about this, or they'd have had it from him faster than blinking. How often had they complained how much Harry cost them to keep? And all the time there had been a small fortune belonging to him, buried deep beneath London. Hold on. Now we can.
Hi, Birdie.
Duck's right here. I have both of them. Quacky. Yeah.
Why? No, why? I was gonna stream the laugh, but Ronnie texted me. He's like, she's not feeling well.
Oh no.
She's got fever and aches.
Oh no. Our best friend, he says, hi, babe.
Hi, babe.
Hi, babe. Poor Lavender is sick. Well, she can come listen to my chat.
Did you turn these on?
Yes, I did.
Did you download the app?
No. Wait, I have the app, but it just turned on by itself.
Oh, you just turned it on. And, Oh, I see what you did.
Then I was like, oh, okay. Because I have the app.
That's bubbles.
Yeah. I like the bubbles. A bubble to bubble to bubble. Apparently it's my affiliate anniversary, according to chat, that only I can see, I guess. I said I'm wearing a Harry Potter shirt, but you can't tell. Because
You can't really tell.
I'm wearing a Harry Potter shirt. You can't really tell. Especially when I twirl like this. Also, because I'm wearing a dog. Yay! Actually, I'm wearing 2 dogs.
Now I am king and queen.
Best of both things. Aw, biddies. Yeah, sprinkle in those biddies.
Bitty, bitty,
Aw, thanks, Birdie. Now you get all my super cute emotes. Thank you for the sub. We love it. Aw, thanks for the gifted sub. Yeah, apparently it's my affiliate anniversary. I'll have. Oh my. Wait. What?
Hype train!
What is happening? There's a hype train. How is that possible? Oh my goodness. I guess. I guess I have a hype train right now. I'm a big boy house. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Oh, we're about to beat my last record. Keep up the support. We're at 63%. Yay! Biddies, biddies, biddies. See? See that? Duck's just staring at you, chat. You see it? They're right there. Oh, thank you, Birdie. Thank you for the biddies. Oh, those are my favorite ones. They're so cute. Here's Duck. This one's Quack. Oh, chat. My hype train's at 69%. Well, on my OBS, it's at 69%. Quack's coming. Oh my gosh, thank you for the biddies. Yeah, biddies. The dogs have deserted me now. The sex number. The dogs are like, bye, see you later. Somebody else is home? We don't want to be here anymore. Bye. Alright, hello. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Yay! All the biddies, all the biddies. Oh. I'm gonna say, okay, bye. We're so excited. Where are you going? Alright, see you later. Up the stairs. Up the stairs they go. Yay! Thank you for all the biddies. Oh, had the sex number of biddies. Oh dear. The dogs are coming to see you, Matt. La la la. Also, Mav, I can get off so you can actually stream. This, it's your job and everything. After I finish this chapter. We got 75%, although on my app it says 76%. Who to believe? Whoa. Yeah. Where's my... Oops. There we go. I have a little... I have a little party hat, I guess. Yay! Chat, are we ready to learn about the craziest conversion system ever? Because, you know, I don't know who decided on it, but it doesn't make any sense. Oh dear. All right. Here it comes. Hagrid helped Harry pile some of it into a bag. The gold ones are galleons, he explained. 17 silver sickles to a galleon, and 29 knuts to a sickle. That's right. Where's my... Oh, my calculator ran away. Please hold. So, we got 29 knuts for one sickle. And then there's 17 sickles in a galleon. So there's 493 knuts in one galleon. You know, those nice round numbers that we like to deal with in the wizarding world. Although I did hear something funny. I don't remember where I heard it. I heard somewhere that it doesn't matter. Oh. My OBS is it just told me that I missed the train. The hype train is long gone. Better luck next time. I feel like that's quite rude, but you know. Thanks, chat. Not you guys, chat. Like, I mean Twitch chat. That was quite rude. Yes, the numbers are witchcraft. I heard somewhere they're like, they don't need to know. It doesn't matter what the conversion is because wizards can just do super complicated mathematical functions in their heads because it's magic. I was like, if that was the case, I don't think they would have an arithmancy class, but that's just me. Just saying. Also, you know, they always kind of paint Hagrid as like a dunderhead, but he can do mathematical gymnastics to get all of these correct. It's easy enough. Duh. Forehead. It's easy, forehead. Obviously. Right. That should be enough for a couple of terms. We'll keep the rest safe for you. Turn to Griphook. Vault 713 now, please. I refuse to say 713. True. That's true. Arithmancy is to find out numbers and the meaning behind it, but yes, absolutely. They just use, you know, gotta take a couple of derivatives. You gonna lay there, buddy? Not on your bed? No. Why lay on a bed when I can just lay in the middle of the floor? Oh, I can turn on the... Now I can turn on the dog cam. Wait, ready for this? I don't even know if Duck's on the dog. Wait, that didn't work. There we go. Oh, no. There it is. As soon as Duck moved. Come here. Where are you? Where? Here he is. Just put him in his little baby carrier. This is actually a genuine baby carrier. My mom got it for me last year, or 2 years ago now. Alright, well, let me turn that off now. For now. There, duck's right here. Hello. Say hello, chat. Hello. Yeah, nice, easy mental math for you. Vault 713 now, please. Can we go more slowly? One speed only, said Griphook. Where are you? So, like, where are your legs? What? Where's your foot? Where's your other foot? What? Good mind. You don't have to sit. Hey. You're fine. You're fine. He's like, no, mommy. I must not be contained. One speed only, said Griphook. They were going even deeper now and gathering speed. The air became colder and colder as they hurtled around tight corners. They went rattling over the underground ravine. And Harry leaned over the side to try and see what was down at the dark bottom. But Hagrid groaned and pulled him back by the scruff of his neck. Vault 713 had no keyhole. Stand back, said Griphook importantly. He stroked the door gently with one of his long fingers, and it simply melted away. Yes, they are at Gringotts. Yes. Hey, Harry's looking for the dragon. Yep. If anyone but a Gringotts goblin tried that, they'd be sucked through the door and trapped in there, said Griphook. How often do you check and see if anyone's inside? Harry asked. About once every 10 years, said Griphook with a rather nasty grin. Something really extraordinary had to be inside of this top security vault. Harry was sure. And he leaned forward eagerly, expecting to see fabulous jewels at the very least. But at first he thought it was empty. There you go. Then he noticed a grubby little package wrapped up in brown paper, lying on the floor. There we go. Hagrid picked it up and tucked it deep inside his coat. Harry longed to know what it was, but knew better than to ask. Come on, back in this infernal cart, and don't talk to me on the way up. It's best if I keep my mouth shut. Oh dear. One wild cart ride later, they stood blinking in the sunlight outside Gringotts. Harry didn't know where to run first, now that he had a bag full of money. He didn't have to know... He didn't have to know how many galleons were inside, there were to a pound, to know that he was holding more money than he'd had in his whole life. More money than even Dudley had ever had. Might as well get your uniform. That's my nose, said Hagrid, nodding toward Madame Malkin's robe for all occasions. Listen, Harry. Would you mind if I slipped off for a pick-me-up in the leaky cauldron? I hate them Gringotts carts. He did still look a bit sick. So Harry entered Madame Malkin's shop alone, feeling nervous. Madame Malkin was a squat, smiling witch, dressed all in mauve. What a color to pick. Mauve. Mauve. You say mauve or mauve? Mauve. I'm sure one of my high school acquaintances named their child that. Because they're interesting. Hogwarts, dear, she said when Harry started to speak. Got the lot here. Another young man being fitted just now, in fact. In the back of the shop, a boy with a pale, pointed face was standing on a footstool, while a second witch pinned up his long black robes. Oh, wow. Madame Malkin stood Harry on the stool next to him, slipped a long robe over his head, and began to pin it to the right length. Hello, said the boy. Hogwarts too? Yes, said Harry. My father's next door, buying my books, and mother's up the street looking at wands, said the boy. He had a bored, drawling voice. Then I'm going to drag them off to look at racing brooms. I don't see why first years can't have their own. I think I'll bully Father into getting me one, and I'll smuggle it in somehow. Harry strongly reminded of Dudley. Have you got your own broom? The boy went on. No, said Harry. Play Quidditch at all? No, Harry said again, wondering what on earth Quidditch could be. I do. Father says it's a crime if I'm not picked to play for my house, and I must say, I agree. Know what house you'll be in yet? No, said Harry, feeling more stupid by the minute. Geobad. Alright, chat. Who is said boy?
Ron.
Nope. My father.
Here's black.
It's Draco Malfoy. My father will hear about this.
My father.
Well, no one really knows until they get there, do they? But I know I'll be in Slytherin. All our family have been. Imagine being in Hufflepuff. Think I'd leave, wouldn't you? Said Harry, wishing he could say something a bit more interesting. Imagine being in Hufflepuff and having a whole musical written about you.
Let's go.
I'll show you that. I have to watch it first. It's called Puffs.
Puffs.
That-
Like Puffs Plus?
Yep. I say, look at that man, said the boy suddenly, nodding toward the front window. Hagrid was standing there, grinning at Harry and pointing at 2 large ice creams to show he couldn't come in. That's Hagrid, said Harry, pleased to know something the boy didn't. He works at Hogwarts. Oh, said the boy. I've heard of him. He's sort of a servant, isn't he? He's the gamekeeper, said Harry, who was liking the boy less and less every second. Yes, exactly. I heard he's sort of a savage. Lives in a hut on the school grounds. And every now and then he gets drunk, tries to do magic, and ends up setting fire to his bed. Oh, I think he's brilliant, said Harry coldly. Do you? Said the boy with a slight sneer. Oh, I did that by accident. Good job, Mikey. I could turn my dog camera on. There's Crackers. He's right here. He's in the red bed. Right next to... He loves right next to the curtain. Why is he with you? Where are your parents? They're dead. Brutal, said Harry shortly. Well, straight to the point. They didn't feel much like going into the matter with this boy. Oh, sorry, said the other, not sounding sorry at all. But they were our kind, weren't they? They were a witch and wizard, if that's what you mean. I really don't think they should let the other sort in, do you? They're just not the same. They've never been brought up to know our ways. Some of them have never even heard of Hogwarts until they get the letter. Imagine. I think they should keep it to the old wizarding families. What's your surname, anyway? But before Harry could answer, Madame Malkin said, That's you done, my dear. And Harry, not sorry for an excuse to stop talking to the boy, hopped down from the footstool. Well, I'll see you at Hogwarts, I suppose, the drawling boy said. Harry was rather quiet as he ate ice cream that Hagrid had bought him. Chocolate with raspberry and chopped nuts. What's up? Said Hagrid. Nothing, Harry lied. They stopped to buy parchment and quills. Question. Side note. I should just make a thing that's like, side note. What if you had to buy more parchment halfway through the year? Does Hogwarts have like...
No.
I guess you would just have to send an owl out and be like, hey, I need this. Especially if you're a first year.
Isn't there like a secret way to get to
Hogsmeade?
Hogsmeade?
Yes, but you're not allowed to go to Hogsmeade until you're in year 3. So, and yeah. It does make you wonder if Hogwarts has like...
For 2 years then.
Yep. Hogwarts has like a little school store or something. Harry cheered up a bit when he found a bottle of ink that changed color as he wrote. Oh, that's fun. I would love that. When they left the shop, he said, Hagrid, what's Quidditch? Blimey, Harry. I keep forgetting how little you know. Not knowing about Quidditch. Don't make me feel worse, said Harry. He told Hagrid about the pale boy in Madame Malkin's. And he said people from Muggle families shouldn't even be allowed in. You're not from a Muggle family? If he'd known who you were. He's grown up knowing your name if his parents are wizarding folk. You burn. You saw what everyone in the Leaky Cauldron was like when they saw you. Anyway, what does he know about it? Some of the best I ever saw were the only ones with magic in them in a long line of muggles. Look at your mum. Look what she had for a sister. Oh, burn. Burn. So, what is Quidditch? It's our sport. Wizard sport. It's like... Oh, hi, love. Thank you for the subscription. 10 months in a row. Settle in, chat. It's story time. That's from Shrek the Musical. Settle in, girls. It's story time. I'm sorry to hear that you are not feeling well, love. Hopefully this will make it better. Also, Duck's here. And Quack's in his bed. Over there. He's in the red bed. You can just kind of see him. Wizard's chess.
Wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard, Harry. That was last chapter. Ow. Bonked Minnie. Yep, Duck's right here. That's our sport. Wizard sport. Sorry. It's like soccer in the Muggle world. Everyone follows Quidditch. Fair. Played up in the air on broomsticks. There's 4 balls. Sort of hard to explain the rules. That's an understatement. Here we go. Me waving at you. See my little baby carrier.
Ducky doo.
And what are Slytherin and Hufflepuff? Schoolhouses. There's 4. Everyone says Hufflepuff are a lot of duffers, but I bet I'll be in Hufflepuff, said Harry gloomily. Better Hufflepuff than Slytherin. There's not a witch or a wizard who went bad that wasn't in Slytherin. You know who was one. Well, sorry. You know who was at Hogwarts. Also, chat. Let me just say, if you're a Slytherin, please don't turn off. I don't think all Slytherins are bad. He's just saying that during this time, it just happened to be that some Slytherins went bad. He doesn't say all Slytherins are bad. As we, right, buddy? We support all houses here. Right? Yeah. Duck says yes. Also, I would totally bring Duck in and say he was a cat. Be like, he's a cat. You can only bring a cat, a toad, or an owl. Be like, he's my cat. Name Duck. You don't know. He's tiny enough, he could just fit in my pocket, in my robe. Years and years ago, said Hagrid. Long time ago. That was a terrible Miss Minutes, I apologize.
It was bad.
That was really bad. Fighting off a sniffle. Oh dear. They bought Harry's school books in a shop called Flourish and Blots, where the shelves were stacked to the ceiling with books as large as paving stones, bound in leather. Books the size of postage stamps, covered with covers of silk. Books full of peculiar symbols, and a few books with nothing in them at all. Even Dudley, who never read anything, would have been wild to get his hands on some of these. Yeah. Hagrid almost had to drag Harry away from curses and counter curses. Curses and counter curses. Bewitch your friends and befuddle your enemies with the latest revenges. Hair loss, jelly legs, tongue tying, and much, much more. By Professor Vindictus Viridian. Vindictus. I was trying to find out how to curse Dudley. I'm not saying that's not a good idea. But you're not to use your magic in the Muggle world, except in very special circumstances, said Hagrid. And anyway, you couldn't work any of them curses yet. You'll need a lot more study before you get to that level. Yep. Hagrid wouldn't let Harry buy a solid gold cauldron either. It says pewter on your list. But they got a nice set of scales for weighing potion ingredients, and a collapsible brass telescope. That's very smart. Because how else are you going to stick it in your trunk?
That's what she said.
Then they visited the apothecary, which was fascinating enough to make up for its horrible smell. A mixture of bad eggs and rotten cabbages. Oh, that just... bleh. Barrels of slimy stuff stood on the floor. Jars of herbs, dried roots, bright powders lined the walls. Bundles of feathers, strings of fangs, and snarled claws hung from the ceiling. While Hagrid asked the man behind the counter for a supply of some basic potion ingredients for Harry, Harry himself examined silver unicorn horns at 21 galleons each, and minuscule, glittery black beetle eyes, 5 knuts a scoop. Outside the apothecary, Hagrid checked Harry's list again. Just your one left. Oh yeah, I still haven't gotten you a birthday present. Harry felt himself go red. You don't have to. I know I don't have to. Tell you what. I'll get you an animal. Not a toad. Toads went out of fashion years ago. You'd be laughed at. And I don't like cats. They make me sneeze. I'll get you an owl. All the kids want owls. They're dead useful. Carrying your mail and everything. Yeah. Just get a puppy. 20 minutes later, they left Elop's Owl Emporium, which would have been dark and full of rustling, flickering, jewel-bright eyes. Harry now carried a large cage that held a beautiful snowy owl, fast asleep with her head under her wing. He couldn't stop stammering his thanks. He sounded like Professor Quirrell. Burn. Don't mention it, said Hagrid gruffly. Don't expect you've had a lot of presents from them Dursleys. Just Ollivanders left now. Only place for wands, Ollivanders. That is very hard to say in a Hagrid voice. And you got half the best wand. Duh. A magic wand. This is what Harry had been really looking forward to. The last shop was narrow and shabby. Peeling gold letters over the door read, Ollivanders, makers of fine wands since 382 BC. Actually, that should probably say BCE, but you know.
Truth.
Wizards. Oh, this might have been before we all changed to BCE or CE. And by we all, I mean like hardly anybody. A single wand lay on a faded purple cushion in a dusty window. Tinkling bell rang somewhere in the depths of the shop as they stepped inside. It's a tiny place, except for a single spindly chair that Hagrid sat on to wait. Harry felt strangely as though he had entered a very strict library. He swallowed a lot of new questions that had just occurred to him, and looked, instead, at thousands of narrow boxes piled neatly right up to the ceiling. For some reason, the back of his neck prickled. The very dust and silence in here seemed to tingle with a sort of secret magic. Good afternoon, said a soft voice. Harry jumped. Hagrid must have jumped too, because there was a loud crunching noise. He got up quickly off of the spindly chair. An old man was standing before them, his wide, pale eyes shining like moons through the gloom of the shop. Hello, said Harry awkwardly. Ah, yes, said the man. Yes, I thought I'd be seeing you soon. Harry Potter. It wasn't a question. You have your mother's eyes, Seems like only yesterday she was in here herself, buying her first wand. 10¼ inches long, swishy, made of willow. Nice wand for charm work. Mr. Ollivander moved closer to Harry. Harry wished he could blink. Those silvery eyes were a bit creepy. Your father, on the other hand, favored a mahogany wand. 11 inches, pliable, a little more power, and excellent for transfiguration. Well, I say your father favored it. It's really the wand that chooses the wizard, of course. Mr. Ollivander had come so close that he and Harry were almost nose to nose. Harry could see himself reflected in those misty eyes. And that's where Mr. Ollivander touched the lightning scar on Harry's forehead with a long white finger. Sorry to say, I sold the wand that did it, he said softly. 13½ inches. You. Powerful wand. Very powerful. And in the wrong hands, well, if I'd known what that wand was going out into the world to do. He shook his head. And then, to Harry's relief, he spotted Hagrid. Rubius! Rubius Hagrid! How nice to see you again. I know, I love Ollivander too. He's so quirky. And everyone thinks that he himself has been selling the wands all by himself since 382 BCE.
I mean, look at Nicholas Flamel is like hundreds of years old.
Also in this book. Well, he's mentioned in this book. Nicholas Flamel. Rubius Hagrid, how nice to see you again. Oak, 16 inches. Rather bendy, wasn't it? It was, sir. It was. Yes. Okay. As soon as I finish this chapter, I'm gonna be done. Said Hagrid. Good wand, that one. But I suppose they snapped it in half when you got expelled. Said Mr. Ollivander, suddenly stern. Yes. They did. Yes. Yeah, I know. That was very mean of them to do, wasn't it?
Ducky.
That was, I don't know if you heard that. That was Ducky yawning, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
He was right in front of the mic, so I don't know if it picked it up or not.
I can't hear it because I switched screens.
Yeah, he's so old that it's kind of, I think it's kind of implied that he's been selling them the whole time. Or at least most of that time. Yes he did, said Hagrid, shuffling his feet. I've still got the pieces, though, he added brightly. But you don't use them? Said Ollivander sharply. Oh, no, sir, said Hagrid quickly. Harry noticed he gripped his pink umbrella very tightly as he spoke. Said Mr. Ollivander, giving Hagrid a piercing look. Well now, Mr. Potter, let me see. He pulled a long tape measure with silver markings out of his pocket. Which is your wand arm? Well, I'm right-handed, said Harry. Hold out your arm. That's it. He measured Harry from shoulder to finger, then wrist to elbow, shoulder to floor, knee to armpit, and round his head. As he measured, he said, Every Ollivander wand has a core of a powerful magical substance, Mr. Potter. We use unicorn hairs, phoenix tail feathers, and the heartstrings of dragons. No two Ollivander wands are the same, just as no two unicorns, dragons, or phoenixes. Is that the plural of phoenix? To Google later. Phoenixes are quite the same. And of course, you'll never get such good results with another wizard's wand. Harry suddenly realized that the tape measure, which was measuring between his nostrils, was doing this on his own. Mr. Ollivander was flitting around the shelves, taking down boxes. That will do, he said. The tape measure crumpled to a heap on the floor. Right then, Mr. Potter, try this one. He Dragon heartstring. 9 inches. Nice and flexible. Just take it and give it a wave. Harry took the wand and, feeling foolish, waved it around a bit, but Mr. Ollivander snatched it out of his hand almost at once. Maple and phoenix feather. 7 inches. Quite whippy. Try. Harry tried, but he hardly raised the wand when it too was snatched back by Mr. Ollivander. No, no. Here. Ebony and unicorn hair. 8.5 inches. Springy. Go on, try it out. Harry tried and tried, but he had no idea what Mr. Ollivander was waiting for. The pile of tried wands was mounting higher and higher on the spindly chair, but the more wands Mr. Ollivander pulled from the shelves, the happier he seemed to become. Tricky customer, eh? Not to worry, not to worry. We'll find the perfect match here somewhere. I wonder. Now, yes, why not? Unusual combination. Ollie, phoenix feather, 11 inches. Nice and supple. Harry took the wand, felt a sudden warmth in his fingers. He raised the wand above his head and brought it swooshing down through the dusty air, and a stream of red and gold sparks shot from the end like a firework, throwing dancing spots of light on the walls. Hagrid whooped and clapped, and Mr. Ollivander cried, "Oh, bravo! Yes, indeed. Oh, very good. Well, well, well. How curious. How very curious." He put Harry's wand back into its box and wrapped it in brown paper, still muttering, "Curious, curious." "Sorry," said Harry, "but what's curious?" Mr. Ollivander fixed Harry with his pale stare. "I remember every wand I've ever sold, Mr. Potter. Every single wand. It so happens that the phoenix whose tail feather is in your wand gave another feather, but just one other. It is very curious indeed that you should be destined for this wand when its brother, why, its brother gave you that scar." Harry swallowed. Yes, 13.5 inches. You. Curious how these things happen. The wand chooses the wizard, remember. I think we must expect great things from you, Mr. Potter. After all, he who must not be named did great things. Terrible, yes, but great. Harry shivered. He wasn't sure he liked Mr. Ollivander too much. He paid 7 gold galleons for his wand, and Mr. Ollivander bowed them from his shop. In the late afternoon, excuse me, the late afternoon sun hung low in the sky as Harry and Hagrid made their way back down Diagon Alley. Back through the wall, back through the leaky cauldron, now empty. Harry didn't speak at all as they walked down the road. He didn't even notice how much people were gawking at them on the underground, laden as they were with all their funny-shaped packages, with the snowy owl asleep in its cage on Harry's lap. Up another escalator, out into Paddington Station. Oh, Paddington's the cutest. Harry only realized where they were when Hagrid tapped him on the shoulder. "Got time for a bite to eat before your train leaves." He bought Harry a hamburger, and they sat down on plastic seats to eat them. Harry kept looking around. Everything looked so strange somehow. "You all right, Harry? You're very quiet," said Hagrid. Harry wasn't sure he could explain. He just had the best birthday of his life. And yet, he chewed his hamburger, trying to find the words. "Everyone thinks I'm special," he said at last. "All those people in the leaky cauldron, Professor Quirrell, Mr. Ollivander. But I don't know anything about magic at all. How can they expect great things? I'm famous, and I can't even remember what I'm famous for. I don't know what happened when the night my parents died." "Hello, Imposter Syndrome. Nice to see you. Glad you can make it." Hagrid leaned across the table, behind the wild beard and the eyebrows. He wore a very kind smile. Don't you worry, Harry. You'll learn things fast enough. Everyone starts at the beginning of Hogwarts. You'll be just fine. Just be yourself. I know it's hard. You've been singled out, and that's always hard. But you'll have a great time at Hogwarts. I did. Still do, as a matter of fact. Hagrid helped Harry onto the train that would take him back to the Dursleys. Then handed him an envelope. Your ticket for Hogwarts, he said. 1st of September, King's Cross. It's all on your ticket. Any problems with the Dursleys? Send me a letter with your owl. She'll know where to find me. See you soon, Harry. The train pulled out from the station. Harry wanted to watch Hagrid until he was out of sight. He rose in his seat and pressed his nose against the window, but he blinked, and Hagrid had gone. Alright, that was chapter 5. So chapter 6 is the journey from platform 9 3/4. Which, yeah, if you ever go to Universal and you go to the station at Universal and you ask the people at the front where 9 3/4 is, and they will say some funny things. One time they were like, "You mean change?" No, I don't have any change. Alright. Well, I'm gonna end, and Maverick's gonna start, so I'm gonna see if I can raid Maverick.
What's up, chat? How is everybody? Time for a little Maverick After Dark. Maverick After Dark. Alright, so originally we were gonna do some World of Lab tonight, but Lab is feeling ill, so you just got me tonight. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Then we'll get back onto our regular schedule tomorrow. Duck. Dr. Goose is over here playing with Duck's paws. So yeah, we'll get back on our regular schedule tomorrow. Maybe we'll do some city skylines tomorrow. I'll see how I'm feeling. I love your new